Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight, it's a shocking story of a woman who goes to register her newborn only to find out she's married. The Prime Minister says the NIGARD court drama will cost the PLP the next general election. Plus, coronavirus concerns grow as a cruise ship denied by Jamaica heads for the Bahamas.
Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. A woman who says her life was turned upside down after her identity was stolen is speaking out tonight. The mother went to register her newborn at the Registrar General's office only to discover she was married to a Haitian national without her knowledge. Jasmine Brown takes a look in the first part of her series, Citizenship for Sale.
For thousands of Bahamian women, giving birth is a dream come true. But for one mother, the birth of her youngest child sparked a nightmare that threatened the citizenship of her child.
She even wanted me to put my baby's name in this Haitian national's name. I said, the devil is a liar. I said, that would not happen. I'd have to go to my lawyer. I guess they think they were dealing with a dummy.
This 43-year-old mother of 5 has been living that nightmare since 2018 when her youngest child was born. She has asked that we conceal her identity to protect her family and young children, but she was open about the ordeal that has forever changed her life. She says she went to the Registrar General's office to register her baby's birth only to be told she was married to a Haitian national and the ceremony had been performed a year before. It was a claim she said she denied, but the staff didn't seem to believe her.
So she said, you're in the system, and the system is showing that you're married. I said, maybe it was an error, you know? So she said, no, this is you, this is you. Your name is so-and-so. I said, yes, ma'am. Your dad's name is so-and-so. I said, yes, ma'am. So she said, well, this is you. And I said, tell me. If you're saying that I'm married, who am I married to?
She says after she learned the name of the Justice of the Peace who signed the marriage certificate, she went to his office that very day where they had a tense face-off.
I said, do you know me? He looked at me, he said, no, I don't. And I said, my point exactly.
With the JP unable to answer her pressing questions, she says she went back to the Registrar General's office to get a printout of the marriage certificate and bring it back to his office. But by the time she returned, he was long gone. That's when she decided to get the police involved.
He told the officer, this isn't the lady, this isn't her. Said she changed her face. I said, wow, I don't know if I'm a reptile or something, you know, that I can change my facial appearance.
While she dealt with the police and the Registrar General's office, she says the stress of being a new mom and having her identity stolen took a toll and her health declined as she realized the man she was legally married to on paper but had never met was using her to gain status in the Bahamas.
My body broke down, I got sick, hypertension, taking medication.
And you had a newborn baby on your hands.
A newborn baby.
The nightmarish ordeal would continue for more than a year as the matter was investigated and the case made its way through court. The man she was fraudulently married to pleaded guilty in a magistrate's court and was sentenced to prison, while the JP who carried out the fake ceremony was fined thousands of dollars.
And how does that make you feel knowing that you've been living your life thinking everything is fine, but for months ahead of when you found out, people were obtaining your private information and using it to basically sell status in this country?
It's sickening. To me, it's very sickening because I look at it as my own Bahamian people selling me out. You took my God-given name from me. You sold it for a couple of dollars.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis is urging voters to reject the Progressive Liberal Party in the next general election amid the political firestorm over a lawsuit involving Life for Key billionaire Peter NIGARD. Berthany McDermott reports.
At what was initially promoted as a Western District community meeting, Prime Minister Minnis used the drama surrounding a lawsuit alleging that fashion mogul Peter Nygaard engaged in illicit acts with underage Bahamian girls and Nygaard's interaction with PLP members to make his case as to why the PLP should be kept out of office.
All I could see in the local and international press was a serious story about a rich foreigner and the PLP. This scandal may become one of the lowest moments in the PLP's history. And let me say that the allegations made in this scandal are shocking and disgusting.
The civil suit filed recently in New York alleges that the Liferty billionaire used his considerable influence in the fashion industry, his power through the corruption of officials, and a network of company employees under his direction to groom and entice underage girls and women. It also alleges that Nygaard initiated a scheme to purchase police protection and political cover in the Bahamas by making regular payments of tens of thousands of dollars to law enforcement and government officials. Minnis said Bahamians deserved a detailed explanation from the PLP on the matter.
Young women, including Bahamian women, have come forward to tell extraordinary stories of abuse. In every era, no matter how much they say they've changed, the PLP gets into scandals. The country is still waiting to hear a clear, detailed statement on this matter from the PLP.
PLP Chairman Fred Mitchell has denied that the party had any involvement. Minnis was also very critical of PLP National Vice Chair Patricia DeVoe, who at a recent PLP rally said,
"You said there are plenty nice-looking people here in this party. We don't have a bunch of darkies all over the place heating up the place."
A vice chairman of the PLP got up on a stage and talked bad about black people. What a disgrace.
DeVoe apologized for her comments, which were heavily criticized on social media. However, political observers have pointed out that Minnis and many other senior members of the FNM were silent when Water and Sewage Director Bennett Minnis made homophobic and racist comments about the PLP last year. Meanwhile, Minnis also predicted a complete wipeout in the next general election, asserting the PLP will win 0 seats.
It's never been done. The boundary is not changing. You got what you got. But it must be 39-0.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Well, PLP leader Philip Davis is tonight hitting back, saying it was actually Nygaard who broadsided the PLP. Davis said if Minnis wants to make Nygaard's legal troubles political, then the Prime Minister has questions to answer as well.
I think it's Nygaard himself who, at the end of the day, ended up, as it were, broadsiding the PLP because he got nothing from the PLP.
Considering Canadian fashion mogul Peter Nygaard's dream to have stem cell research done in the Bahamas never materialized, Davis says there's nothing to show that Nygaard benefited from the Progressive Liberal Party being in power from 2012 to 2017. Concern over Nygaard's relationship with the PLP goes back to the early days of the last Christie administration, when a video surfaced showing Nygaard celebrating the PLP's election victory.
Can I say this? PLP! Victory! Victory!
Asked about that video today and the Prime Minister's comments about Nygaard's relationship with some members of the PLP, Davis went on the defense.
What would that video show? That they were at the key, that they were engaged in some discussions or what I gather to be stem cell initiatives. And it was, as far as I'm aware from those who spoke to me about their presence there, it was an authentic meeting to discuss that issue. And all I say that is just to lay the foundation for the political diatribe and distraction that the Prime Minister has now picked up on and mentioning on his political stump campaign.
In a video recorded via cell phone while in North Andros, PLP Chairman Fred Mitchell said he felt compelled to respond to the Prime Minister as well.
We must be very careful. Progressive Liberal Party members, this is a distraction. This man can only say that he has caused unemployment and greater debt for the Bahamas. Our economy is in trouble. He is politically in trouble, and so now he's trying to create this distraction over this nonsense.
In other news, the family of a suspected armed robber who was killed by police in an early morning shootout say his death was an injustice. However, Jared Higgs tells us his father and brother admit that their loved one had his troubles.
Family members tell Our News that the man killed by police on Monday is 23-year-old Nashawn Adderley.
Oh, he was a gangster. It's really sad. He was a gangster. He ain't like I know how my son is, how my son go.
According to police, Adderley and another man were getting ready to commit an armed robbery at Royal Bank of Canada's Mackey Street location on Monday before 9 a.m. However, when they got to the bank, they encountered police officers who were tipped off to their plan. Police say one of the men opened fire on the police, and being in fear of their lives, police fired back, killing Adderley and injuring the man with him.
You can't cover for your child when you know your child is too wrong or things like that, but Shawnee wasn't really like no killer or no, you know what I mean? Shawnee just like money.
Adderley's father, 47-year-old Sean Adderley, was frank when speaking to Our News about his son. He says the 23-year-old previously faced an armed robbery charge.
I know what got him to go and try to do what he had to do, but they not to kill him like that though.
There were more than 50 shots fired during Monday's shootout that left Adderley dead. While he acknowledges that his son would have been wrong if he was about to rob somebody, Adderley's father and brother, 27-year-old Devarcio Adderley, believe the incident could have been handled differently.
That's injustice. That right there, that's personal. Over 58 shots? Come on, man. I ain't give no one right here or whatever. He might rob or do this or whatever, but come on.
The grieving family members think more restraint could have been shown.
All them shots? Come on, man. All the fellas do robbery and they ain't die like that, man. And the man gets them.
The fellas robbed the other day, they ain't kill them like that. They ain't send them my shots into them who got catched by Flowers building the other day up Michael Road.
Family members remembered Adderley for both his troubles and his better times. His cousin, Aaliyah Bain, says she had a long talk with him the night before he was killed.
I feel like he feel I was coming because he tell us his whole life story.
Yeah, he was telling us everything.
Adderley's father says his son may have crumbled under the pressures of being a young man. He says if a program was in place to help him, things may have been different.
If you live that life, or you choose that life to live, that's what you choose. You know what I'm saying? But right now, the system need to try to give these youths a chance, man. You need to try to find some way to help these youths, man.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
An MSC cruise ship that was denied entry to Jamaica and the Cayman Islands has been cleared for entry by the Bahamas government. According to Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands, who told Our News the ship was only denied because of the ship's inability to fulfill international maritime obligations. He confirmed that there is a person on the ship who has been confirmed to have influenza A and symptoms consistent with the flu. International news outlets have reported that the crew member has a travel history that includes the Philippines, a country of interest regarding COVID-19. However, Sands said there is no reason to believe that the person was exposed to or is expected to have the coronavirus. The ship, he added, is expected to arrive at Ocean Key by the end of the week.
At this point, we have no information at all that would lead us to deny entry. However, out of an abundance of caution, we have requested that that passenger have a COVID-19 test and to confirm that it is indeed negative.
Meanwhile, 4 more individuals have been quarantined upon their recent return to the country as health officials continue their surveillance activity on those traveling from impacted areas. Still to come, reassigned senior officers meet with their attorney. Stay tuned.
Phone is good. Internet is good. TV is good. But why just pick one thing when you can have everything with Trio? Only $99 a month gets you phone, internet, and cable. That's everything you need for $99 a month. Ask for Trio. Call 601-2200 or email residentialsales@cablebahamas.com. Rev, you and us together.
Attorney Wayne Monroe held a joint meeting at noon today with 3 assistant commissioners of police who have been reassigned to other government entities after returning to active duty from forced vacation leave. ACP Ken Strawn was transferred to head security at 2 juvenile facilities. Clayton Fernando was reassigned to the Ministry of Health, and Layman Delaveau was recently reassigned to the Ministry of Education. Monroe says Fernando met with the Health Minister and Permanent Secretary, but it is clear an ACP is not needed by that ministry for 12 months.
He had met with the Minister of Health and the Permanent Secretary, who promised them a comprehensive list of all the teething, they say, going on in the Ministry of Health and all the other issues. He hasn't gotten that yet. He wrote a preliminary report to the Commissioner, and now he's just waiting on the final written information from the Ministry of Health. I've told him I think that that's just a part of what I consider a general conspiracy in this whole matter.
As for Delaveau, who was supposed to meet with Education Minister Jeffrey Lloyd on Tuesday, Monroe said that meeting did not take place.
He called the Minister of Education, who I think you all reported, said he didn't expect anyone to be contacting him or coming to see him or coming to his ministry, but that he would see him the 14th. He didn't have a meeting on the 14th. A week later, he followed up on the 21st by phone. The minister's secretary indicated a meeting would be Tuesday, which was yesterday. That meeting didn't happen. He is still awaiting the meeting.
Meanwhile, Strawn, who is suing the government, is awaiting a court date. Monroe called their reassignments a thinly veiled attempt to get rid of those officers, adding if he is wrong, those ministers involved can sue him.
This is a very poor job of conspiring to remove people so you could replace them with your own. And in the Bahamas, we should be very alarmed.
Still to come, Christians observe Ash Wednesday. Stay tuned.
Phone is good. Internet is good. TV is good. But why just pick one thing when you can have everything with Trio? Only $99 a month gets you phone, internet, and cable. That's everything you need for $99 a month. Ask for Trio. Call 601-2200 or email residentialsales@cablebahamas.com. Rev, you and us together.
You're watching Our News. Welcome back. Christians observing the beginning of the solemn period of Lent today during Ash Wednesday services across the country. Ash Wednesday is one of the most important holy days in the liturgical calendar. It opens Lent, a season of fasting and prayer. It is chiefly observed by Catholics and Anglicans, although many other Christians observe it as well. The practice includes the wearing of ashes on the forehead. The ashes symbolize the dust from which God made his people. Over at St. George's Anglican Parish, Father Scott Brennan urged members of the congregation to do more than just give up something.
We give up a bad temper and take on peace. We give up jealousy and take up love. We give up resentment and take up contentment. We give up pride and take on humility.
During this period, Christians sacrifice something in the weeks leading up to Resurrection Sunday.
And so what you have to do is realize that it's an initiative that you take. The word initiative means a beginning. You are beginning your time now to say, you know what, I'm going to do a better job. I'm going to become a better Christian. Some of you are going to give up some things. Yes, I understand. Sometimes some sweets and some candy and things of that nature.